of this, the WCG Shattered Temple. Versus his opponent, it is Dignitas.BlinG. He is in the orange trunks, and he is playing Protoss to the north, and currently holds on to a very comfortable 2-0 lead in this best of 9.
And I spoke to BlinG before the series actually took place, and he was very comfortable going into this. He said he spoke a lot with a couple of players. He's been practicing with Cass and Thorzane, and also Dystar as well, who plays a very similar style to EG.DeMuslim. Focuses heavily on medivacs, on his timings with upgrades as well. And EG.DeMuslim does call this map outright. It is a very ugly version.
It is a very ugly version, yeah, and that's not to say that we hate the map-making team that was behind it. I think actually the ESV team is behind the changes to the texture work here. It is a little bit weird, isn't it? It's a map that we've seen hundreds of times before, that we've cast hundreds of times before. Now it's been mutilated, it's been changed, and that freaks me out just a little bit. I don't know if I can handle it.
Well, the millions of Starcraft 2 games that have been played on this map, I guess it's about time that something happened to it.
I would certainly agree. It's definitely not a favoured map when it comes to tournaments these days because of the gold and, of course, because of the possibility of really powerful mech use that we see on this map all the time. Zerg really don't like it. For PvT, though, nowhere near as bad, especially not if you take the gold bases out. In fact, I'd say that it's a fairly balanced map, and indeed that is one of the maps we agreed to in the map pool. It was debated, and the decision was made.
It was awesome when they were talking about cross positions. I was following BlinG's probe, and it actually did like a little zigzag movement.
It's like, whoa, where's it going?
I mean, it was going straight down, and then EG.DeMuslim says, I think, and then it went right, and then he's like, oh, it's cross only, and then it went down and then right again.
Yeah,
he was actually just trusting on what EG.DeMuslim was saying, which is funny.
Yeah, it's funny considering that BlinG has actually played on this map and EG.DeMuslim hasn't, but there you go. I believe it is close air and cross. Both of those are available. You'll only see fixed cross position on maps where anything else would simply not work. Oh wow, they've even changed the texture on the rocks. What a fancy little thing indeed. And usually you'd see a probe stealing gold minerals from that, but no, the gold mineral base on this version of the map has gone.
And we do see another command center after barracks here by EG.DeMuslim, and we also see the same, or actually a different build this time. I was going to say same build from BlinG, like game 1 where he was in 4 in gas, but this time he's actually with all 6 probes in both of the Vespian geysers here. So what does he have planned here? I mean, he could also just go very very Sentry heavy, but he could do something like BlinG. He may decide to do some form of aggressive play nice and early because he does have that comfortable 2-0 lead, and this SCV is going to be the most important SCV in the entire of this series so far, because if this SCV doesn't get picked off, BlinG may just have a very easy option to go ahead and do something more aggressive here.
And this SCV is extremely well hidden, very well hidden indeed. It's difficult to see. It was difficult for me to spot, honestly, on the map. I was just like, what SCV is he talking about? Where is he? Oh, it's down there. There we go. It's hidden behind the brush and indeed in the shadow of a large rocky outcrop here. It's on its way, and it is not going to get killed before it scouts the Nexus.
Yeah, it's a very important scout there, because having seen double gas being mined from, it's like, well, you know, is he going to do something, or is he just going to go ahead and expand with a lot of sentries? So it's a very useful SCV there, and he does scout it. But look at the Muslim space again. He's gone back to the build from game number 1. So we have 1 refinery, which will allow him to get stim straight away, or maybe combat shields actually, and then be able to just build a lot of units and take a decently timed 3rd base. Meanwhile, in BlinG's base, he's pretty much standard. He's got his double gateways to build up to 3, and then surely he will be wanting to add on the robotics facility in the near future to actually find out with an observer what EG.DeMuslim is doing, because looking in the scouting from BlinG, you know, he doesn't see anything once again.
Yeah, once again, he is blinded, and EG.DeMuslim has effectively denied that. And all the cards at the moment in EG.DeMuslim's hand, we've got BlinG just playing guessing games at the moment, which is unfortunate. But as you said, that will stop to be a problem. Cease to be a problem, in fact, once this robo is up. I wonder if we'll actually see the 3 observers that BlinG had on the field, which is a rather large number, and you always see Protoss be really, I suppose, they absolutely despise building a lot of observers. They're very regretful when they have to build more than 1. They really dislike it, because of course it's gas that could be sunk into something else.
Yeah, I mean, especially at this stage of the game where you want to be teching up or building gas-intensive units, you know, such as Sentry and even Stalkers in a few, you know, they're still costing 50 gas a time. So I think we'll just see one Observer to begin with, and BlinG has already told me before that he really despises drops, and they always tear him apart. He doesn't have very good crisis management, so he actually does end up getting 3 observers sometimes at the later stages, and he's actually going for 2 here. So he does want to go into the base and also check, you know, when's the factory timing down, you know, is there an engineering bay, what are the barracks add-ons, you know, reactor, tech labs, and then he also wants another one to follow the progress of the army. Where is the army? Where is the 3rd base? So very heavy scouting coming out from BlinG here, and he actually decides to change his strategy here and throws down the robotics bay and adds the 3rd and 4th assimilator. So we will be seeing some aggressive play here from BlinG, but meanwhile, DeMuslim is pushing out with those 16 Marines, or 17 Marines this time around once again, and they have not been spotted by the Observer.
This is going to be interesting. DeMuslim's going to be able to strike here and do maximum damage. Will it be enough to break down that kind of defense? He gets a good initial engagement. Slow response time there by BlinG, and the force fields aren't good either. He's only able to trap a single Marine there, and that's a lot of firepower he's about to run into here. He's going to end up losing a lot of sentries by the looks of it. If he's not careful, Guardian Shield goes up again, but additional reinforcements have now been warped in. How much more damage can DeMuslim actually do? Beautiful control right here by BlinG. Keeps all 5 of those sentries alive.
That was just amazing, really, wasn't it? That control was just superb. He didn't lose anything there. He lost his Zealots, which he doesn't care about, but he kept everything else alive. So really, really beautiful play there from BlinG. And it's so important to not lose the sentries, to not lose the Stalkers, especially when you're taking up to Colossus, which is so gas intensive. And let's have a look in the eyes of DeMuslim. Does DeMuslim know anything? No. He didn't even manage to scout the gases on the natural.
Scan
so I wouldn't be surprised
as well.
if we saw a scan. Yeah, I mean, he sees it, but will he see the Colossus pop out? I don't think it will. It's so close.
Nope.
No.
Not happening.
So he sees something where he may think, well, the thing is, the usual style from BlinG involves not a robotics facility building something at this stage of the game. He doesn't build Immortals. He's not going to build an Observer, so he may have actually figured what's coming on already as he throws down additional bunkers. He has 2 additional bunkers already, and I guess he'll have to build 2 medivacs, but will he build Vikings again or try to scout again?
That's definitely a good question. If that Marine stays where it is, I mean, this push is actually only with a single Colossus, a very intriguing thing to do, but he's already killed off the Marine before it saw the Colossus. He has no information that this is actually here. Bear in mind that Colossus does not have extended thermal lance, so even bringing it into the fight at this stage is a little bit risky.
Yeah, but he's going to be able to do quite a lot of damage here, and he's going to force no medivacs to be made after the initial 2. We are going to see DeMuslim go heavily into Vikings. He's pulled a lot of SCVs off, so even though he's got a decently timed 3rd base, he's actually not in that much good of a position. His income has incredibly dropped, and BlinG is building a lot of probes. He's at 58 already. He's going to transfer over to the 3rd base very, very shortly here, and I wonder if BlinG will continue to build Colossus just always off that one robotics facility, because I know he's going to be looking to tech over into Archons very, very shortly here and get Zealot charge as well. Well, that'll be interesting to see. But DeMuslim, look, his income's just plummeted. He has so many SCVs off getting ready to repair bunkers.
Yeah, that's really, really unfortunate right here. DeMuslim's playing so incredibly cautiously, and it's hurting him so much. With Mules here, he should be ahead of his opponent. He's not. That is... How many idle SCVs are we looking at there? That's actually a lot of idle SCVs, at least 10. I'm not liking that one little bit. And, oh wow, BlinG gets in perfect position to see the exact timing of that orbital command, and is in a position now to react. But the question is, how many more Colossus do we see? Well, at the moment, none. We're not getting any more in from BlinG, and he's got the money to actually build another, and he's not supply capped either. So here comes the Templar Archives. He's going to prepare for that tech switch before he even goes in with this engagement. He will lose the Colossus. He knows this. Colossus always die in this situation once we've revealed them, because the Viking count will get high. But it comes down to how much damage do you do with that wave, and then what happens when you bring the next one in, which does not contain Colossus.
Yeah, really, really beautiful switch here by BlinG. Only committing to 3 Colossus, sorry, then stop. Then he gets Zealot charge, and he's got double Forger again, just a lot later on this time. His upgrades are near completion too, +1 armor's about to finish. DeMuslim has no idea, and he's still building Vikings. He's actually at 6 right now, about to be at 7. That's obviously a really good count, and now he scans and sees only 3 Colossus. He actually scans the High Templar too, and this little push is going to hit before Storm. He's going to have to move to Archons and get ready for an engagement here. Zealot Charge isn't even ready.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate. There's the cancel right there on the 4th base, and otherwise not really an awful lot of damage done there. DeMuslim is once again overstimming. I'm really not liking this because I think the BlinG is doing exactly the same thing as he did on the first map, only this time he's doing it in a more extreme manner. He deliberately revealed the Colossus at a time when he knew he couldn't do significant damage with it to force nothing but Vikings out from DeMuslim. And then once DeMuslim tries to push, he realizes, I only have 2 medevacs, I can't fix this. I don't have the energy, I don't have the medevacs to fix up a stimmed force like this. And if he gets pushed into this again, then DeMuslim's force is going to get rapidly worn down.
And there is a drop on the left-hand side, 2 Marauders and 4 Marines, and there's nothing there right now. He does have the ability to warp in units though, so as long as he spots it on the minimap fast enough, he should be okay here. And it's undetected. DeMuslim's pressuring the front though, that's why it's undetected, and the drop does land down.
Oh, very nice engagement there by DeMuslim. He actually picks off a Colossus and a second one before they even get involved in the engagement. That Viking control from DeMuslim, absolutely beautiful and really hurting his opponent. Down come the Vikings immediately to drop onto the ground. A storm lands, but it's not all that good. A second storm and a third doing significant damage here. DeMuslim ripping through his opponent, but this war of attrition has played against him, and BlinG has been able to do a lot of damage in the process. Now the question is how much damage was done by that drop. It's picked up and it's now moved off to that cliff area, and the amount of workers killed is actually 7. Not too bad at all, and that's allowed his opponent, well, it's allowed DeMuslim to actually catch up there, and he's got a significant amount of energy available for mules as well.
And another drop was in the main base, but does get picked up there and leaves, and BlinG manages that. And like you said, only a couple of probes were actually killed there, and to be honest, when you got this much chrono boost and you've already got 70 probes, it doesn't matter. So that drop was pretty much inefficient, to be honest. It caused BlinG to open a few zealots, but the main army was stopped, and there's that observer on the right hand side that we talked about BlinG loves to place. He sees the drop on the right hand side via the minimap, but I don't think he was actually looking. So that medivac does manage to go into the main base and will be able to do a little bit more damage, but BlinG's army is pretty scary right now.
Yes, it is, and he's moving it all out there, which could potentially be a problem. That medevac now moving up to the top right here to do as much damage as possible. Are warp-ins available? Yes, they are. BlinG immediately warps in to respond to that. It warps in a Templar, interestingly enough, for a feedback, and I think that he has forgotten that DeMuslim never has any energy on his medevac, so I don't know how good that feedback's going to be. Anyway, regardless, that big ball of doom is in the center of the map. 3 Archons, plus 3 attack, plus 2 armor. Very, very stompy, very, very dangerous versus DeMuslim's 2-1.
And the drop comes in once again. 2 Marauders and Marines doing a little bit more damage this time. They managed to pick off the High Temple before it could feedback, but I guess there was no energy anyway. But like you said, this one's doing a little bit more damage, but the upgrades is such a significant advantage for BlinG right now. I think he doesn't even care about this drop. He may just actually try to kill DeMuslim right now. DeMuslim's only at 2-1 as well. Yep,
he warps in 2 Stalkers, and he's able to get a good charge surround there, but then eats a ton of punishment. He decides not to actually engage and loses a number of zealots in the process. Not entirely sure that that was a good idea, and DeMuslim now in a better position. He's got the higher supply count, and once again is starting to pick his opponent apart with drops, which is what we feared would happen for BlinG.
And then he comes again.
Not a nice place to engage. Yeah, that's horrible. That's absolutely horrible.
Yeah, I mean, that drop was eventually picked up, I think, by the looks of it. And yeah, I mean, I really do like the use of Archons right now because, I mean, he does have Storm, but there's no Ghosts. Archons won't die that easily right now, but 2-2 has finished for DeMuslim, so he's going to push out right now. 3-2 for BlinG. He doesn't have Storm available on this High Templar, unfortunately.
Nasty angle of engagement as well. Ranked fire comes in from DeMuslim right now, crashing through BlinG's army. BlinG taking significant punishment. The Archons can't get at the front. The positioning is really not very good right here for BlinG. The vulnerable Stalkers taking a pounding from the Marauders, and the flank collapses. The Immortal is annihilated in the center. DeMuslim takes a huge win in that engagement.
Yeah, BlinG was just sitting there like a waiting duck right now, and it was picked off, and now DeMuslim is running up, and 2-2 upgrades. He's actually fine right now. He could do a lot of damage here as long as he picks off this Nexus, but BlinG doesn't want that to happen.
Absolutely not, and he looks to try and bring in a Colossus to make sure that doesn't happen. There's actually only 2 Vikings there. Picked off immediately there by BlinG. Really nice decision. The Colossus stays alive, and that inflicts huge punishment. A nice bit of defense. The medevac count is massive this time, but there are no Vikings, so that Colossus could not be touched.
Yeah, there are double starports though, with double reactors this time, so he's going to be able to build Vikings a lot faster, but it's 3 base versus 4 base, and it has been for a very long time here, which has allowed BlinG to stay in the game. So even though DeMuslim was fighting back then, he just didn't have the economy to go all the way to push BlinG right back, but he does still have a decent supply count actually. His army is a lot better than BlinG's. BlinG has to really work on getting that army up. He does have 4 storms available. He's also getting the Warp Prism speed with a Warp Prism again. And this time, we're going to be seeing it once again, and that actually changed so much of the game. In that game number 1 we saw that Warp Prism, but DeMuslim should be expecting that once again. He has to look for it. He has to get the Vikings to target down that Warp Prism straight away.
Oh, yes, and that Warp Prism has 4 High Templar in at the moment. We've seen what he was able to do with that last time. Perhaps we didn't talk about it enough. The fact that he was using the Warp Prism to reposition his High Templar into optimum spots for storms. That was why he was able to land an awful lot of them. So I'm intrigued to see what he decides to do with that. Is he going to go for harassment with it, or is he simply keeping them safe? Basically, this makes them immune to EMP.
And it looks like DeMuslim is pushing out. He's got a decent ghost count actually. Very, very Marauder heavy, which is surprising, especially against the very heavy Zealot army that we are seeing from BlinG here. And, oh, let's have a look at this engagement coming up right now. 200 supply maxed out army, but BlinG is very clumped up here.
Yeah, that could be problematic, and the EMPs are pretty damn huge. They don't hit everything, though. The Colossus at the back, and those storms, once again, are absolutely massive. Amazing storms right there from BlinG, and as a result, DeMuslim takes an absolute pounding. Admittedly, so does BlinG.
Yeah, indeed he does, but DeMuslim now has equal economy to BlinG. They both have a very similar income right now, as he's taken that middle base, and he has a better army right now because he's got so many medivacs. He was able to keep all of them alive, more importantly. If he can repair all of them as well as the Vikings, his next wave is just going to be so strong. Unfortunately, BlinG couldn't take them out right there. And 146 supply for BlinG. He is not working on the plus shields upgrade this time around, which is a little bit surprising. I guess he is under a lot more pressure, but once again, BlinG is a base up right now as he gets that 5th base established on the left-hand side. And I don't even see another command center down yet for DeMuslim. Oh, and he's actually picking up his main base command center and sending it all across the map instead.
Yeah, he's pretty much done with his main, as I think you can see right there. There's very little left in that refinery gas-wise, and he's actually still long-distance mining that. Those SCVs just refuse to give up. And here goes that command center, as you can see. Doesn't want to... I mean, he doesn't really have the economy to build another CC. He wants to remax his army immediately. Now's the kind of time where he can say, all right, I've got the money because I'm at max, but that was his priority there. His production is very, very strong. His macro is absolutely fantastic. A 6th base coming down for BlinG over to the side right here. Currently remains unscouted. DeMuslim has a lot to play with here, though. He really does. He's got a lot of mobility thanks to those medevacs.
Yeah, he does, but I really do like the addition of Immortals into the army of BlinG. Not just relying on Zealot, Archons, and Storms, but adding Immortals because of so Marauder heavy that DeMuslim actually is right now. Really just molding his composition better to deal with DeMuslim's army, which is, let's have a look at that. 31 Marauders versus 15 Marines is such a heavy ratio in favor of that. And once again, BlinG not in the best position right now, and EMPs are getting ready to go off.
Yeah, BlinG needs to be really careful with where he engages. The Archon eats the initial one. The Storms actually... Oh, that one was nice, but most of the Storms actually did miss, and those Templar were immediately picked off. As a result, the Warp Prism falls. There's Viking harassment in the top there. We can't really look at that right now because madness is going on here. Here come the feedbacks. A Storm on the right and a Storm on the left. And DeMuslim just slightly repositioning, and once again, he's able to take this fight.
Indeed, but the warpings of Zealots do come in again and chase him back once again, and as long as Zealots are there, Archons and Immortals are going to do so much damage, and DeMuslim's kiting so well, but Zealot charge is just recharging, and I don't think DeMuslim can kite long enough right now, and a blink as well. Awesome maneuver by BlinG, picking off all the medivacs, and now it's gone from like 10, 50 medivacs down to only 6.
I tell you, man, DeMuslim's still ahead in terms of his army supply, though. He's on 155 to 132, and that was after a big warping. And we haven't really covered this massive Viking harassment, which is not usually what you hear. The Viking harassment has done huge damage. DeMuslim's killed 48 workers up to this point.
Yeah, man, he gutted the left base and then he gutted the ones that were working there, and all of a sudden BlinG, though he's still at a decent probe count, is no longer having that amazing economy. He's at 58 probes, and those Vikings did so much damage there, and that has slowed BlinG down so much. He's actually chrono boosting into the Nexus on the left there to actually replenish them, and chrono boosting on 3-4 different Nexuses right now to actually get that probe count back up to a decent amount, which is probably about 70 at this point in game. But really nice there by DeMuslim, but he did lose a fair few amount of Vikings, to be honest, and he's down to 5 right now. I mean, I wonder if BlinG would actually, well, I was going to say, I guess BlinG could maybe switch back into Colossus, but because of the economic damage that was placed down, it's very difficult to do.
Yeah, I don't know if he actually can. I have to wonder what his gas mining amount currently is. It's not bad, certainly, but Colossus is still a large investment, as you say, and he doesn't know when the next attack could come. His opponent's maxed out again. DeMuslim's economy is fantastic. His macro is unbelievable. He's building 6 ghosts at a time. He remaxes that army so fast. He's got so many production facilities. Still a big Marauder heavy composition, but he's going to be going up against 7 Immortals here. That is going to rip and tear its way through that army very rapidly.
Yeah, and basically DeMuslim has to hit all the EMPs. He has 11 ghosts at the moment, 5 more about to pop, 16 ghosts in total.
Wow.
But to be honest, look at the army of BlinG. It's so strong, but without shield, it's so weak. So let's have a look how the EMPs go down for DeMuslim. If he hits them, BlinG could actually just lose everything right now.
He very well could. He's got to keep his eye out for that. He knows it. He must keep an eye out for the ghosts. He needs to pick them off immediately. Ghost versus High Templar, always an interesting engagement. The Warp Prism is hiding somewhere. There it is. Oh, wow. Takes Viking hits. Needs to be careful not to lose its precious cargo at the moment. That's DeMuslim there in the center, holding onto this area and just baiting his opponent out.
Yeah, and there is a Warp Prism on the right-hand side waiting to open DTs after this next fight. He's at 200 supply, so he can't right now. And that Warp Prism is obviously going to be key right now. Looks like the Ghosts are getting ready to start EMPing, and there they go. They hit a big chunk of Immortals and the Archons.
Yeah, that's messy, and here comes the return fire. Storm's on the left flank right now, as the engagement still looks very strong for DeMuslim. Warp Prism comes in from the side, he loses, oh, the EMP goes off, he loses 3 Templar in the Warp Prism, and the Storm barely lands. DeMuslim takes the initiative, the momentum now firmly in favor of DeMuslim. Retaliatory Storms dropping down at the front here, a ton of Ghosts absolutely ripped to shreds in that Storm, and honestly, DeMuslim's got a bit of a problem here with some very weak units, but he does have the numbers advantage, that ranked firepower, maybe enough to break through. BlinG clutch warps in massive amounts of Dark Templar.
Yeah, really nice choice there, because he's going to be able to fight this army off, and he managed to hold on again. I'm interested to see if he manages to actually keep these Marauders alive. DeMuslim may be in a good position, but he's actually had +1 shields and +3 armor, so DTs aren't dying very fast there, but eventually do get cleaned up, but there's no units left, and now BlinG once again manages to survive. And that Warp Prism now is warping in the DTs to slow down the economy of DeMuslim, which is starting to fall down. Look, 200 minerals versus 2,500.
BlinG's got a bank right now. He can replenish that force immediately. That drop doesn't do anything. That army is incapable of doing anything. The mobility is irrelevant, but he's going to try and pull his opponent apart anyway and drop in as many places as he can. Now moving down to this space, and will once again take a few more probes out here and there. The harassment in the mineral line of DeMuslim was also quite dangerous. 16 workers killed total up to this point. Even after all of these drops, BlinG's still got a worker lead, and it's a significant one.
And he's managed to squeeze out 2 Colossus, which is the important factor right now, because there's no Vikings left. They're all dead. So, right now, DeMuslim's pushing out, but I don't think he can really do this.
6 HP! It needs one more shot! BlinG must target fire! Oh, he loses the opportunity there. It comes down, and it looks like he's going to get a clean-up here, but DeMuslim brings another army and is going directly for the 4th base of BlinG. Big ranked firepower comes down on that Nexus. It melts pretty much immediately. BlinG needs to reposition and eliminate that army, and still DeMuslim with the supply count lead.
And he's still got 2 Marauders and a Marine at the top left. He's just continuing to harass and harass and harass. And There's DTs on that base again, but they're getting cleaned up now because there's turrets and units left over. But this harassment is starting to pull BlinG apart, but he does warp in a DT to deal with it finally, and there are units left, but there's 6 medivacs here that could be picked off. I mean, he has 2 stalkers there, and he's going to go for it. And DeMuslim needs to kind of keep these alive.
Oh yeah, he does. These are vitally important units. He can't be here right now. The problem is they're trapped. He's trying to get them out of there, and he can't do it. They'll be intercepted by BlinG stalkers if he even tries. He needs to keep them there so that he can join up with the remainder of his forces that are now streaming across the map. If he's able to do that, that'll be huge. Those medevacs have energy. But BlinG's warped in a huge army again. Oh my. Right down the center, here comes DeMuslim, smashing his way through those long-distance mining probes, doing huge economic damage. The Colossus at the flank, the quick blink right there, taking down the Vikings immediately. Will a single Colossus die? No, it will not. That's going to be crucial. Another Colossus comes around the side, actually auto-engaging a single Marauder. Positioning not so great here, but will he be able to close the trap? That's what he's trying to do right now. BlinG trying to snap it on top of DeMuslim, and he looks like he's been able to do it, smashing his way through the army of DeMuslim again and picking off the stragglers. The trap snaps shut from 2 different sides, and all of those medevacs annihilated.
Oh, this is such an awesome game right now. BlinG still managing to control his macro compared to how BlinG used to play. You know, say 6 months ago, his macro is never, ever, ever, ever this good. And he's just managing to control. He's dealing with the harassment. He's cleaned up everything right now. And he's just moving around so smoothly right now. And let's have a look at this. The upgrades. The thing that's holding DeMuslim back is the upgrades on the Vikings. They're just at 1-0 compared to the Colossus at 3-2-3. They just don't die.
Yeah,
and the Viking count is so low now. It's only at 2, and there's 2 Colossus, and there's there's another Warp Prism 4 High Templar as well.
Good
and I
God.
can't believe BlinG's managed to hold on to this game. And DT's on the right as well. TotalBiscuit stopping another expansion.
BlinG is all over the place right now, and it's absolutely fantastic to see. Drops going on from both sides. DeMuslim now going to push in hard. He's going to do significant damage to his opponent on this base. A warp-in will most likely be forced to try and clean this up. BlinG warps in Zealots and DTs. The Dark Templar goes to town. Slicey action. Ew, wow, that is nasty stuff to behold. In the meantime, DeMuslim's army and his supply count has finally fallen to below BlinG's level, and both of these guys have taken significant economic losses. DeMuslim's killed 89 probes!
Yeah, and he keeps rebuilding them. He just chrono boosts into the Nexus again and rebuilds them. But there's that drop back again, 2 Marauders, but this time that's definitely not going to work. But
nope.
BlinG is preventing DeMuslim mining from that right base. He has 3 DTs spread out. He has a Warp Prism that can warp in more. And he knows exactly that DeMuslim's mining from only 2 bases right now. And I know that, well, actually BlinG is mining from 2 and a little bit in the top left. There's a little bit more left, but his army's just so much bigger and stronger right now. The upgrades are 3-2-3, and the Viking count is only at 5. Will he be able to get off the Colossus? There's only 2 Colossus. EMPs have to be perfect right now.
They absolutely do, and those Stalkers will no doubt try and pick off the Vikings immediately as soon as they attempt to engage the Colossus. We've seen some good engagements from DeMuslim before, and indeed, most of these engagements that he's got, the initial opening of the engagement has been in DeMuslim's favor, but it's slipped out of his fingers time and again. He needs to watch out for that one. Here come the Ghosts. The Ghosts are very close to the front there. The EMPs land, and they're pretty good, but the Storms come in for the side. Oh my God, it's massive! An absolute massacre when it comes down to the number of Storms there. The supply count of DeMuslim plummets. Oh, wow. I'm at a loss for words at how good those Storms were, and DeMuslim just ate them all. His medevac count is not high enough, and once again, I think BlinG is looking to take this right now. If he engages right now, he crushes that army.
Yeah, but DeMuslim's hugging the planetary fortress just to try to survive into this game, but BlinG is looking more and more confident right now. He knows he can feel that 3-0 lead right now. Will DeMuslim be able to hold on? He only has 2 ghosts left, 1 EMP, that is it! The shields have all regenerated once again, and BlinG is ready.
That's going to have to be the greatest EMP in history in order to matter here. And forward he goes. A storm on the reinforcements as well. Now fighting directly around this planetary fortress, which is the best tactical position DeMuslim could be in. But is it going to make the difference? Another massive storm rips its way through DeMuslim's army. Now at 94 supply, 148 for BlinG. The Zealot count has gone out of control. GG, ladies and gentlemen. And BlinG takes a 3-0 lead in this best of 9.
What an incredible game. What an incredible series so far, even though it's a